Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Dear viewers, this is the lecture 2 on the sustainable development and disaster risk management subject. And in this lecture, we will be proceeding to the sustainable development and the basics knowledge related to the sustainable development will be discussed in these lectures. And after complete listening of these subjects, you will be familiar completely with this what is sustainable development. So let's start. The contents of this lecture, which we will be discussing in detail, those are: we have to do an introduction to the basic concept of sustainability and sustainable development. And next we will be discussing about that what is sustainable development and what is not a sustainable development. Then the third content of these lectures, we will be discussing why this concept, the sustainability, became more popular during the last few decades. So why the concept of the sustainable development gets more popularity in the last few decades will be discussed. And then we will be discussing what are the basic issues and debates that are related to the concept of the sustainability. And then finally we will discuss how the concept of sustainable development is now acting as a nucleus of the development of today's world. So it is very important basics, concepts and knowledge related to sustainability. So let's start the topics one by one in detail. So the first content, that the basic concepts of sustainability are what and the sustainable development. So if we go to the little bit history related to the sustainability and sustainable development, in the year 1987, the WCED, the World Commission on Environment and Development, has introduced the basic concept of sustainable development and explained that it could be achieved easily. How? It can be achieved very easily. That has been explained by the World Commission on the Environment and Development. So in their publications, the one of the report that is called as the Brunton report, which is a very famous in the field of sustainability, which is also called as our common future. What the report of Brundtland is also called as the common future, our common future. So the very most well-known definitions has been explained in this report for the sustainable development. So according to this report, the sustainable development is that type of developments in which we meet the needs of the present, means the present pupil generations, without compromising the ability of the future coming generations to meet their own respective needs, like the natural resources. So this is one of the most common definition of the sustainable development. So in the sustainable development, we basically develop such a institutions, such rules, policies and regulation so that we can use the available natural resources in such a way that we can fulfill our present requirements for the community, for the people, for the family, without compromising the ability of the coming future generation so that they can also fulfill their requirements from the same natural resources. So in these sustainable developments, we have to use the natural resources in such a way that we can fulfill our requirements without compromising the ability of the future generation to use the same resources. So this is what the basic concept behind the sustainable development. And now why the sustainable development became more popular? So due to that we have to use the natural resources in an optimal way So let's go next. The concept of sustainability consists of three basic pillars. So the sustainability concept consists of the main basic three pillars. The first one is the economic, second one is environmental, and third one is social. So the sustainability is resting on these three pillars: economic, environmental, and social. So the sustainability covers these three aspects. So the sustainability is about searching, means finding the correct balance, means the right balance, and understanding the special long-term aspects, positive aspects, and benefits of economic development, which basically protects the environment and also the society. So although the word sustainability brings to mind terms like recycling, energy efficiency, and eco-friendly, but it really much more than what these: recycling, energy efficient, eco-friendly. So the concept of the sustainable development is a wide field which uh, relies on the field of economic, environmental, and social. So they cover all these three aspects. So let's go next. So the basic concepts of sustainability and sustainable development is continued. So the social sustainability actually focus on creating the communities that are pair diverse, connected, and offer a top quality of life to the community, to the peoples in a community, in a country, in order taking into consideration all the things people need from the communities they are living in. So they have the ability to meet their desired requirements for the quality lives from the available that are available in the community. So it also ensures that future generations will benefit from at least the same quality of life as we are currently enjoying. So the future generation should also have the ability to use the same resources like the groundwater, like the fossil fuels, to enjoy their life by getting all these resources easily. So to protect, prevent the community, to need we need to take care of our homes, houses, planet, our earth. So environmental sustainability is responsibly interacting with the planet to maintain its natural resources and climate. Of course, to strike the right balance and economic sustainability should be part of the decision making process. So it basically requires a better and long term approach, and benefits must be weighed against the other aspect of sustainability. So sustainability is a wide field, so it has to cover all aspects for the betterment of the community. So sustainability has been historically perceived as a business issue involving activities that give back to the community to help and to reduce, mitigate the business environmental impact on the community. In the last decades, it has been became evident that individuals should also strive towards the sustainability by changing their habits and by using their consumers' powers to reward companies that incorporate sustainability in their strategies. So let's go ahead. The United Nations have set the 17 goals. After a lot of meetings, conferences has been done on the achievement towards the betterment of the community, so that to achieve the sustainable goals. So the United Nations has have set the basic, important, common 17 goals that are a universal call in order to take actions to mitigate and end the poverty, protect the planet, and ensure that all people enjoy peace and prosperity and enjoy their life. So all these goals are integrated, meaning that actions in one area will affect outcomes in the other, and their development must balance the what? The environmental, social, and also economic sustainability. So they were adopted by all the United Nations member states in 2015 as part of the 230 agenda, and that is one of the uh, agenda to be achieved from the 2015 to the 2030 that laid out the actions which are required to achieve them. So that has been a period that has been set by the United Nations to achieve the agenda of these goals. So here are the sustainable development goals that are set by the United Nations to be achieved as an agenda of the 2050. So the sustainable development goals set by the United Nations are these. So as you can see that these are the 17, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. So what are these goals? So by zooming, so now you can see the first one is we have to overcome and end the poverty. So for the sustainable development, so we have to first do the actions in order to end the poverty so that no one in the community should be poor and to make them economically stable. So this is one of the goal of the sustainable development by set by the United Nations. So if there is no poverty, so the people will be economically stable uh, and they can enjoy their life. So this is the first goal. The second goal, zero hunger, means to end the hunger, means to make the people and the community sustainable, means that the people should be economically stable so that they should take what they want to eat. So if there is no hunger, so the community will be good, the people will be happy. So this is the second goal of the United Nations out of 17. The third goal is good health and well-being. So the people in the community, in the area, in the country should have to provide a good health and well-being. So if the people are good and there is no diseases, so they will be happy and the community will grow. The fourth goal is the quality education. If the education has a quality, so the people will get more qualitative knowledge, and if there is a qualitative knowledge, so there will be improvements in the technology, and the improvement in the technology is basically the improvement in the economic, social, and environmental welfare for the community. So quality education plays a very important role in the field of sustainability. The fifth goal is the gender equality. So the United Nations set the 17 goals, in which the fifth goal, they have to make the equality of the gender so that there would be no uh, focus on a special gender. So the gender equality should be implemented so that the same uh, rights should be given to both male and females, means there should be no gender restrictions. The sixth one is the clean water and sanitations. We have to provide the clean water to the community. The seventh goal is affordable and clean energy. Energy should be affordable, clean, and economical. So we have to make the community, the pupils, the life should be better and they'll be enjoying. If there is know if there is they have the access to affordable and clean energy. The eighth goal is the decent work and economic growth. So we have to improve the economic growth. Ninth, industry innovations and infrastructures. The tenth, reduce inequalities and approach toward sustainability. The 11th is sustainable cities and communities as approach towards sustainability. The 12th goal of the United Nations put by the sustainable development is the responsible consumption and production. So the people should be responsible and the responsible consumptions and production. And the 13th is climate actions. We have to take the actions to reduce the climate effects. So that is a step toward sustainability. The 14th is life below waters. We have to protect the life below the waters is a approach toward the sustainability. The fifth, the 15th is life on land. So we have to save the life of the uh, animals, any any living things to be saved. 16 goal of the United Nations put for the sustainable development is the peace, justice and strong institutions. If there is peace, justice and strong institutions, so the community and the country will grow. And the grow is basically the improvement in the environment, social and economic. And the people will be happy, the community will be enjoying their life if there is a peace, justice and strong institutions. The final 17th goal of the United Nations is the partnership for the goals. In order to achieve some specific goals, we have to do some partnership by teamwork. We have to achieve all those goals. So all these 17 goals put by the United Nations for the agenda from 2015 to 2050 to achieve these goals. So nowadays, currently, the United Nations is consuming a lot of budgets and funds in order to achieve all these goals. And this is a step towards sustainable development. So let's go next. What is sustainable development and what is not a sustainable development? So here are some of the examples through which you will understand that what are the developments that we can call as that are the sustainable development, and some of them are the development which you can't call as sustainable development. So if developments taken by the government or some private agencies, if their development controls the population growth, so we will be called as sustainable development. If the development do not control the population growth, so that are not a sustainable development. Next example, does if a development protects the biodiversity, so that is a sustainable development, a step towards sustainability. But if the development is not protecting the biodiversity, so that is not a sustainable development. The third example, does the development increase the forest cover? Yes, then the development is sustainable. If the development is not increasing the forest cover, because the forest cover is basically we are improving the growth in the forest, in the greenery. So if there is greenery, trees, grasses, so the environment will be good. There will be attraction of the raining because due to the grainy area there is raining, and during the raining so the climate is good and the everything would be good, air quality would be good, water hydrological cycle will be good. So their development, if that uh, increase the forest cover, will be called a sustainable development. If not, then their development is called not a sustainable development. The fourth example, does a development taken by the government institutions or some private agencies to decrease the population. So if the development decrease in the population, so that is a sustainable development. And if it not decreasing the population, that is called an unsustainable development. The last example, if a development reduces the waste generations, we call that is a sustainable development. But if the development taken by the government agencies or some private and they are not reducing the waste generations, so their development would be called as non-sustainable, unsustainable development. So this is what we call as a sustainable development or not a sustainable development. Next, so why the concept of the sustainable development become more popular during the last few decades? So why this concept becomes more popular if we survey the last few decades about the sustainable development? So the sustainable development practices generally helps the countries to grow in ways that can adapt to the challenges posed by the climate change, which will in turn help to protect the important natural resources for both ours and future generations. So by the end of year 2050, it is estimated that our global population will likely to reach and increase to what? 9 billion people, which is a very huge figure. So the United Nations set the sustainable development goals that we have just studied in the last slides. So those goals can fulfill the requirements of the people of the population that are growing rapidly in the coming years, in the coming decades. So we have to take actions so that we can provide the facilities, the life facilities, the living facilities, and to make the people of the coming generation more feasible. So we have to do such research, such innovation, so that we can fulfill the requirements of our and the current generations and our current future people, and to make the resources available for the future generation. So in 1987, the World Commission on Environment and Development published a report on the Our Common Future, also known as the Brundtland Report. It weaves together the social, economic, cultural, and environmental issues and global solutions. It actually popularized the term sustainable development. So, our common future is basically explaining the sustainable development in terms of social aspects, economic, cultural, and environmental issues. So, this report is one of the most commonly implemented and discussed everywhere when there is some discussion on the sustainable development. So why this concept became more popular during the last few decades, sustainable development. So if we take the example to understand that how we have to make the sustainable development and take actions to make the sustainable development. So let's take an example and we'll discuss with that. So if we take the example as the energy crisis, according to a survey conducted in the year 1970, and that alerted warning the world all over the world as to how reliant it had become on non-renewable resources, means like fossil fuels, energy from the fossil fuels. So in developing countries, people faced poverty and starvation and regarded development is essential to raise their standards of living, while developed countries were concerned with the overusage of the natural resources. So we have to take the actions. As you can see here in the figure, we have to take some actions to develop the energy, to provide the energy to the society, to the people, to the community by using some renewable energy resources like these wind panels, wind turbines, these solar panels, by using the energy efficient consumer like lights, by promoting the environment, by planting, so that we can protect our earth from the climate change, from the huge requirements to fulfill the energy requirements of the community. So that is why the sustainable development becomes more popular during the last few decades. So what are the basic issues and debates related to sustainable development and the related to the concept of sustainability? So the issues and debates related to the sustainability. So in the field of sustainable development, there are many major challenges to be addressed. They require us to rethink our economy and our growth in favor of a society that is more economical in its use of raw materials and energy. Some of these challenges include the climate change, which is a challenge and a debate and issue as a sustainability. Energy consumption, as you can see, that the energy currently, the energy consumption is more and the availability of the energy is less. So, and also the population increasing means the demand of the energy is increasing day by day. So, we have to take the sustainable development uh, goals to fulfill the requirements of the energy for the current and future generation. So, this is basically the issue, and we have to do a debate so that we can overcome the requirements of the energy. The third, waste production. In a community, you are familiar that in one day how much waste has been produced, like solid waste in the form of the wastewater, in the form of waste plastics, in the form of waste foods. So waste production is increasing day by day. If we take as a waste production per individual per capita in a community, so day by day the population is increasing means the consumption of the goods resources increasing, so the waste generation is increasing, so it is an issue for the future, and we have to do a debate so that we can solve, we can reduce, we can mitigate the waste production in a community. Next, threats to the public health. If there is a a lot of waste productions and there is no proper management for the waste and the energy consumption is high, the climate change, so threats to the public health. And threats to the public health is basically the diseases in the health of the community of the people. So if there is a disease, so this is not a sustainability. So the people will not be happy from their lives. So we have to make the life easy, life to make and provide some facilities so that we can make the people life more comfortable. But if there is threats and the public health to the public health, so it is an issue. So we have to do debate so that we can overcome poverty, which is a very big issue towards sustainability. Some of the countries in which the people are dying due to the poverty. So we have to protect the poverty and hunger. When they are poor, they would be hunger, and due to hunger, a lot of people in some countries are dying nowadays. Social exclusion. So we have is an issue we have to debate. Management of natural resources, a big challenge is in sustainable development, so that we can properly manage the natural resources so that we can fulfill our requirements from their resources and also to be kept for the future generations. Loss of biodiversity, a very important and an issue, a very big issue and challenge for the community in currently, so that we can uh, protect the biodiversity and land uses, so that we can use the land properly. So it is an issue, and the debate should be done on this, so that we can properly do solutions for such an issue. So these are the some of the common sustainable and sustainability issue that needs the debates to be solved properly, so that we can protect the community from the threats to the health, social exclusion, the waste production, energy consumption, climate change, management of the natural resources, and biodiversity losses and land uses. So this is a step, so that we can debate on this issue and they can be solved properly by teamwork. So these are some of the issues and debates related to sustainability. In this context, the sustainable development approaches are then now very essential obligation. So the basic issues related to sustainable development. So well, almost anything means everything is a sustainability issue if we think. So but sustainability is essentially a human concept. It was not an issue before humans started impacting the planet and each other on a large scale. If you think on behind the every, uh, if you think behind every disasters, or you can say a non undesirable things, so behind that is the human. So the generator or the harmness to the community is basically due to the human. So behind each and every threats there is human being. So because sustainability is so broad, almost anything can be considered as a sustainability issue. Sustainability is fundamentally about human interaction, impact on the environment and on each other, environmental and social issues. Economics is traditionally added as a third pillar of the sustainability, but others looks it is simply as a form of social issue. So there are three pillars of the sustainable development. One is social, economic, and the third one is environmental. So sustainability should select such a uh, solutions, such an option, so that they can fulfill the aspects requirements of the environmental issue, social and economical. So debates related to sustainability. The concept of sustainability comes from the idea of sustainable development, which basically refers to the needs of the world's poor and to the limitations on the environment ability to meet all these needs. So we should take care of to fulfill our needs without restricting our generations possibilities to do the same. So we have to do such a use of the resources, so that we can fulfill our requirements and also to left the resources for the future generation, so that they can use for their requirements. Should we build a dam or preserve a national park instead? Should we go for all organic or industrial agriculture in our quest for the food security? So it is an issue and a debate should be taken on this, so that we can get a good alternative solution. So the major environmental issues are addressed from the different points of view, the and the calls of experts who provide a complete vision of the key questions for the future. So next, what are the basic issues and debates related to sustainable concept of sustainability? So debates related to sustainability development. So if we look to the three pillars, the social, economic, and environmental, so we have to work on the projects, on the issue, on the sites, so that we can do the economic social benefits for the society, business ethics, fair trades, workers' rights. So all those are comes in this category as a social come economic. So in the social standards of living, education, community, equal opportunity. In the economic profit, cost saving, economic growth, and the intersection of these three, social, economic, and environmental, is called the sustainability. This one. This portion is an intersection of these three circles, of these three fields. So the intersection of economic and environmental is called as the environmental cum economics, where we are dealing with the energy efficiency, use of natural resources. The intersection of these two, social and environmental, is the social cum environmental, which deals with the environmental justice, natural resources, and locally and globally. So these three spheres are basically circles of sustainability, social, economics, and environmental. And the intersection of these three makes the sustainability. So how this concept is now become the nucleus of the development of today's world. So as we have discussed till now, that the sustainable development plays a very important role. So as we have discussed, that in futures by year 2050, the generations, the today's generations of the world is currently is 7.1 billions, and in the 2050 it will reach to 9 billion, which is a very huge figure. So the population growth means the population is growing very fastly, in a very fast way. So we have to provide the requirements, the things that should be required by the people, by the community. So we have to adopt the alternative ways so that we can fulfill the requirements of those of this generation, of the future generation, by providing the resources. So this is why the concept of sustainable developments in nowadays become the nucleus, and most of the projects are now conducted by first in the planning stage. They have to incorporate the sustainable development goals for each and every project depending on the nature. So that is why the concept of the sustainable developments becomes a nucleus, so that we can fulfill the requirements of the present and the future generations by using the resources effectively. So the concept of sustainable development nowadays has a focus on the economic developments. We have to do focus on the economic developments to improve the economy of the country, of the community, of the people, of the individual. Social developments, we have to work on the social developments. Environmental protections for the future generation. So we have to protect the environments for the future generations, so that we can make a good healthier community. So environmental protection is a very challenging field in nowadays, because the environmental issue, the intrusion of the chemicals, of the pollutions in terms of the air pollutions, water pollutions, noise pollution, so they are basically badly affecting the environment. So we have to work on that also. So sustainable development is a way to meet people's needs today without stopping future generation from meeting their own needs. since many of our nature resources can run out. It is our social responsibility to use them in a wisely manner. That is why people are now using more sustainable products and technologies to meet the desired requirements. So that is why the concept of sustainable development is in demand. The demand of this development, sustainable development, is increasing day by day. So that we have to do to solve any issue by using the sustainable development requirements. Next, so as you can see in this figure, the sustainability is resting on these three pillars: social, economic, and this is environmental. So these are the three pillars on which the sustainability is resting. This first one is environmental, economic, and social. So all these three pillars are important to implement the sustainability, and the sustainability plays and affects all these three things. So we have to solve any problems if we face as a group, as an individually. So we have to take and opt solutions so that they can uh, affect so that they can not badly affect the social, economic, and environments of the community. So that solution would be the sustainable solution. Next. So the relationship between the three pillars of sustainable developments. So among all these three, environment has the largest area of influence. Economic pillar has the smallest area of influence determined by social organization. Both society and economy are the subsets of the nature. Hence, it is the preservation and manage should be of utmost priority. Environment has the greater effect. So if we do to improve the economy, so it will affect the social society and environment. If we are doing something good for the society, we have to put in mind the effect on the environment. Either their solution is affecting the environment in a which way, in a positive or in negative. So we have to think for the sustainability. So we have to opt the solution which can not harmly affecting the environment, because we as a human beings, as a community, as an individual living in the environment, if the quality of the environment has been affected adversely, so we will be affected adversely because we are the one who are living in the environment. So we have to protect the environment, and this is the one of the pillar of the sustainability. So this was all about the sustainable developments and their basic concepts. So now if you have any question, you can ask in the comment section, and thank you for watching this video.